So I'm on a quest to help you find the perfect budget guitar. I'm going to be talking about a few different things today, switching it up a bit, talking about things between $200 and $1,000, helping you find the right thing for your budget, and a criteria that I think really matters the most when looking for a guitar in that price range. So stick around. How's it going, y'all? This is Cooper Greenberg here at Alamo Music Center in San Antonio, Texas. You can find us online at alamomusic.com. You can call us, chat with us, visit us in the store. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel so you can see all the cool stuff, and check out our podcast, the Fretboard Confessional. It's on the channel now, so you can just watch it here, but subscribe so you can see when new stuff comes out. We got new stuff coming. Chris and I went to the Ferk factory, loved it. We're going to be talking about some fancy pants guitars that I really like. But I got to come out and say, I see it all the time on our comments. I do read the comments. I see when you insult my lack of enunciation, when you make fun of when I have braids, all that stuff. I'm fueled by your hatred. But one thing that I think is a valid criticism is we've been shown a lot of really expensive guitars recently. That comes down to a lot of things. One, guitars are getting more expensive. Availability on, some lower end stuff is not always great. Sometimes we have orders for kind of our go-to budget guitars that take a little bit longer, and we also get really excited over things like $20,000 Taylor 50th anniversary guitars, which we showed you recently. So I have seen plenty of people say, what happened to helping us find the right thing in our budget? Now, we've done a few videos in the past about, maybe top 5 guitars under $500, top 5 under $1,000. But sometimes those get outdated. I think it's worth it to kind of revamp in the lens of 2024, what's still affordable that I can kind of get behind and honestly recommend. So I have a few criteria here, and what it really comes down to is I think you need a solid top, because I think you can find a really quality guitar under $1,000, well under $1,000 with a solid top. How comfortable is it to play / how well is it made? And also, at the end of the day, it's like if it feels good to you and it stays in tune and it sounds all right, it can't be a bad guitar. So with that in mind, I'm going to walk you through a few different things from a few different manufacturers. It's going to be a little different than our typical videos because I'm actually only demoing one of them today, but we have previous videos that I'll put the links in the description to where you can hear the guitar. I'm really more just talking about the value and why I think it is a good option. So all these are things that I often recommend in the store, that all of our sales guys, if somebody comes in and says, I have $500 or less to spend, we're going to kind of get right into what my typical go-to is. Now, before I grab it, for a guitar in this price range, you may be a beginner, somebody that really just wants to get started. You might be looking for something that you can travel with or bring outside, bring to the beach, bring by the campfire, and not have to worry too much about it, because a lot of times people will buy more expensive guitars, $2,000, $3,000, and still come in and look for something in a lower price range just so they have something that they can leave out. If their kids are running around, they're not too worried about it. If they're passing around to people, if they're traveling with it. So it's not just a beginner thing. It can be for a seasoned player. I think this still has some relevance to you. But as a beginner, I think this first one is really geared towards that. So the Fender CC60S acoustic guitar pack, and this one comes in at $229.99 as of the day that I am filming this video. This is an all-time top seller for us, and I think for probably every music store around the country. It is pretty hard to pass up at $229, and the least expensive guitar that I have today, but let's get started on that. So for a beginner, the pack comes with everything you need. So it's got picks, a strap, gig bag, and some extra strings. This is a solid top guitar. That's the S in CC60S. And we talk a lot about solid top. Solid top's just going to give you a better sound. It, I think, means more to have a solid top and laminate back and sides. You can get a lot further with that, and a lot of higher end guitars still have laminate back and sides. So As long as you got a solid top, you're good to go. This is a mahogany top. A lot of guitars in this price range will have a mahogany top, not all of them, but you'll often see, even in American-made guitars, you'll see some with mahogany top. I don't necessarily know why we get other really high-end guitars with mahogany tops. I kind of like it though. I think it's a nice, pretty sound, warm, and this is just easy to play for a beginner. So if you're looking for something under $300, pretty hard to beat a CC60S pack. We've done videos on it before. We've compared it to other things, and we've long carried CD60s, which are dreadnought shape. This is a concert shape, and that kind of goes into what I'm talking about when it's comfortable to play, because a lot of times a beginner, that's why I say this is more geared towards a beginner, it's not as comfortable to have a bigger body guitar, and you may be a 6'5" beginner, and in that case it's like, go for whatever you want, go for a jumbo. But for a concert shape, a little curvier, a little easier to sit down with, this has got a really comfortable neck. It's got a little bit narrower nut width at 1 11/16, which is going to help somebody with, you know, kind of just getting to know the guitar, get your hand strength up. And pretty much all of these that I've taken out of the box and shown a customer are set up well. Again, if you're a seasoned player and you're watching this, you already know what a setup is with your action, the height of the strings off the fingerboard. But the higher that is, the harder it's going to be to play. And if it's hard to play, you're not going to really want to stick around with it. So CC60S at $229, I'd say if you're looking for a guitar in that price range, you're looking for a gift for somebody that wants to get started, this is a great option because it comes with all the extra stuff. You can get the guitar just by itself for a little bit less, but I think it's like $30 less, and you don't get a gig bag, strings, picks, and a strap. If you were to get the guitar and then add in all that extra stuff, it'd probably be over $30 anyway. So I think the CC60S pack is a great way to begin. But slightly higher price range, something that I recommend almost more than this, and I'll tell you why, is this Yamaha. This is the FSX-800C. Now, this is a little bit more. This is right now $359.99. There is a Yamaha that I really, really like that I also recommend that is $229, just like the CC60S. That's the FG800, and I think for a lot of people that is probably their first guitar. My mom had a Yamaha acoustic that was probably an earlier version of the FG800 that I had around the house that I played a lot when I was learning how to play. But something like this, there's a few reasons why I think it's a little bit more compelling of an option. The FG800, it's going to be a dreadnought body shape. It's not necessarily called a dreadnought, but it's around that size. It's Yamaha's folk shape. However, the FS with Yamaha, kind of in this series, you have the FG, which is bigger. You got the FS, which is smaller. You can get these guitars all the way up in that body size to now you got the FG9 and FS9, which we've shown you recently. They make $4,000 guitars in this body shape that feel like this, that are really well made in Japan. I did not mention that before. The Fender is made in China. The Yamaha is made in China. Just as a quick side note, in this price range, you're going to try really hard to find, and probably not find, a USA-made guitar, steel string acoustic, under $1,000. So most of what we're working with is, actually everything is that we're working with today is not made in America. There's some on the higher end that's made in North America that are made in Mexico, but we'll get to that. So FSX800, why I think it's a little bit better of an option than the FG800 or maybe even the CC60S. At $359, you get a comfortable body shape, FS body shape, a little closer to a grand concert. You get a cutaway, you get electronics. Now, electronics and a cutaway are going to be the big things that add a little bit extra on the price. This is a solid spruce top guitar with laminate NATO back and sides. But with electronics, this is what might gear a player that's a little more seasoned but needs something a little cheaper to bring around or play at a show that you don't want to bring your super nice thing at. This is gig ready. It's got a tuner built in. It's got a 3-band EQ. It's got volume, and it's a little more ready to be played out live. Really comfortable neck. Again, These are set up well pretty much all the time whenever I bring them out, which you can find a guitar that you like that may not be super easy to play, and you can get a tech to set it up, make it easier to play. But it's kind of this good faith thing when you pull it out of the box, and like a beginner can fret things on it a little bit easier. Yeah, I just think that this guitar at $359, there is an FS-800 that's a little bit cheaper, but with the X, that means electronics. With the C, that means cutaway. You know, you get a little bit more of that easy, gig-ready playability, especially if you have the intention of learning guitar to go play open mic nights, start playing gigs, play with your friends and plug in. It's a lot cheaper to buy a guitar that already has electronics in it than go add in electronics, especially in this price range. So FSX-800C, I just think is a great choice at $359. This is something that I would recommend to pretty much anybody. So before we take the step up, I want to mention a brand that I really like. This is jumping up in price, but the two things that I've shown you so far have been solid top, laminate back and sides. That means that it's not solid back and sides. Again, if you know that already, I'm just going over this for folks who don't necessarily know. I'm hoping to find some people that are trying to get in with this video. You can find some Guild guitars that are also imported from China that are all solid wood that will come in well under $1,000. So one of my favorites, if you're looking on our website, I don't have it here with me today to show off. I have it at the other store, but the OM120, that's an all mahogany guitar. That is solid top, back, and sides. Also really comfortable body shape. OM is going to be a little bit bigger than the Grand Concert type body, but in the same vein. But that's a mahogany top. They got OM140 that is a spruce top. You can find really nice all solid wood guitars that are made in China that get imported over here for well under $1,000. So keep Guild in your thoughts. I would also say in that same vein, take a look at some of the Epiphone inspired by Gibson stuff. We have videos on the Guilds and the Epiphones. A lot of people come into the store and they are asking me for a Gibson that is under $1,000. There's no Gibson that's under $1,000, unfortunately. But Epiphone has made it to where you can get as close as humanly possible with their Hummingbird and their J45 inspired by Gibson, also the Masterbuilt Frontier. This is getting into stepping up into the over 1,000 range, but the inspired by Gibsons, as of right now, are still under $1,000. Great options, and the Guild, Westerly Collection, 120s and 140s, fantastic. So stepping from there, those are, say, in the 6, 7, 8 range. We're going to kind of take a step back into probably the most popular guitar in the world. You knew it was coming. We got the GS Mini. So from Taylor, I got a few different options that I think each one works for a beginner or somebody that's looking for something just under $1,000. GS Mini, like I said, probably the most popular guitar in the world, definitely Taylor's top seller. This is the OG GS Mini. Some might call it the GS Mini Sapele, some might call it GS Mini S. There's a lot of different GS Minis in the range that reach over $1,000. This is the absolute entry level, no electronics, obviously no cutaway because GS Minis, as of right now, don't come with the cutaway. This is not a full-scale guitar, so that's one maybe con for this. If you're looking to get a full-size guitar, this isn't all the way there. All the ones that I've mentioned thus far have not been short-scale guitars. I have a GS Mini. I've said this a million times on this channel. I think everybody here at the store has a GS Mini. They're by far the easiest guitar to play, and I think, the whole impetus for this video was people telling me that we're doing too many expensive guitars. There's also comments out there that say we talk too much about Taylor. There's a lot to talk about there, so forgive me, but it is hard to argue with the fact that this is, I think, the easiest guitar to play steel string acoustic in the store. This one right now, no electronics, layered Sapele back and sides, solid spruce top. This is $499, and if you want to get a mahogany, that's $599. Electronics, that's $699. You get up to, the Koas and the Pluses and all that. They're going to take you well over $1,000, but the GS Mini, just as it is, spruce sapele. It's probably my favorite guitar to play when I'm at home. So consider the GS Mini. I got a couple other Taylors to show you. It's the Academy 12. Now the Academy series takes it into a new realm. This is a full-size guitar. All of these are made in the Tecate, Mexico factory, by the way. Like I said, any American Taylor, the entry that you're gonna get in there is probably in the $1699 range with the American Dreams, but 300 series, that's gonna take you well over $2,000. So, the Academy, why I recommend this one a lot to people in the store is, one, Academy, it insinuates that this is kind of a student model, and I think in the old school days, guitar manufacturers were a lot more transparent about this is a student model guitar. You take Fender, like Music Masters, for instance, but a student model guitar is geared towards comfortability, and that's why you see a bevel up here. The Academy 12E, well, this is a non-E, so this is $699. If you want electronics, gonna add a little bit more. There's also, like I talked about with the Yamaha, there's a little bit bigger body shape. There's a Dreadnought, that's the Academy 10. For anybody that's just getting started, I would recommend the 12, a little more comfortable. All the Academies have a bevel on them, just makes it comfortable for your arm to rest over it. And again, if you're just learning guitar, you're looking for something that's gonna be comfortable enough to where you do not want to stop playing. You're gonna wanna practice, and the less comfortable it is, the more that you're gonna wanna just give up on it. So, solid spruce top. This is one of the newer Academies when they did kind of a rolling spec change. So before, they did not have a pick guard. They have a pick guard on them now, and it's walnut, layered walnut back and sides, not all solid, but it was sapele before. I like the look of walnut. I think it's just a little bit, nicer look. Just like with the GS Mini, very, very comfortable to play. The Taylor neck is kind of the biggest thing that I think Taylor has going for them when it comes to bringing in new players, even in their highest end stuff when people are comparing top of the line Taylors, Martins, Gibsons, Yamahas, all that. Everybody kind of concedes the fact that the Taylor neck is very, very hard to beat. So Academy 12, also available with electronics. There's something that I kind of haven't talked about too much yet, but when it comes to what it comes with, all Taylors come with a gig bag, all Martins come with a gig bag. The pack that I showed you earlier, the Fender, does come with a gig bag because it's a pack, but the Yamahas do not at that price range. The Guilds do, the Epiphones don't. So kind of look into what you get with the guitar. Taylors come with nice, durable gig bags, and all the way up, everything comes with a case. So keep in mind what you're paying for, what kind of extra stuff you're getting. So Academy 12E, and the last Taylor that I'm going to show you, all right, so from Taylor, we talked GS Mini, most comfortable guitar in the world, but short scale, does come with a bag. We talked Academy 12E, Academy 12, no E, but you still can get an E for under $1,000. Now we're getting into what is Taylor's most popular body shape in their full-size guitars. This is a Grand Auditorium. This is a 114 CE. So you got electronics, you got a cutaway, making it this probably the most obvious option thus far for somebody that maybe they have a Taylor, maybe they got something a little bit nicer, a little more expensive. They want to have something that they're comfortable with, but bring it around to gigs, let other people play it, not worry about it too much. 114 CE, very similar to some of the kind of specs that we talked about with the others. This is solid spruce top, layered sapele back and sides. This is as bare bones as it gets, but you get binding, you get a little bit nicer, complete look. You got the ES2 pickup system, which in GS Minis and Academies, the pickup system will be the ESB. That does have a tuner on board, but it's not the same preamp system that comes in all the higher-end American guitars. In this room with me right now, I have a $20,000 Taylor. It's got the same exact ES2 pickup system in it. So with this guitar, you get just a little bit kicked up everything in terms of the materials. The size is something that I think hits the Goldilocks spot because it's got kind of the depth of a Dreadnought, got the big sound of a Dreadnought, but it's pulled in a little bit tighter at the waist. That's what makes the GA body style so popular. It's just really comfortable to play. So if you're looking for a full-size guitar, and you're under $1,000, this is $899. I think this is kind of a no-brainer. If you step up just a little bit, you get into the 200 series with just a little bit different appointments, but for the money, a 114 CE, this will get the job done for everything that you need and kind of give you a taste of what you can get into with some of the higher-end Taylors. So with Taylor, you got something a little bit smaller, really comfortable. You got something kind of right in between, great for a student. And then you have something like this that, I mean, this is a gigging guitar for sure. You can go out and play with this thing. You can beat it up. You can love it for a lifetime. It's not gonna, it's not gonna fall apart on you. None of these guitars really are, but this is, I think, the first kind of foray into something that could be like more of a long-term instrument. So that's Taylor. Now, obviously, we're gonna move on to some Martins, and I kind of have a mirror image here of what we talked about with Taylor. As a quick side note, I'm friends with our Taylor rep, JR. I'm friends with our Martin rep, Colin. I asked both of them, under $1,000, what are you going to recommend to somebody from your company? JR and I kind of agreed upon the fact that, Academies and 100 series and GS Mini, that's kind of the way to go. I recommend all of those to different types of players, but nobody's ever been unhappy with one of them. Colin was the one that went left field for me with a guitar that I didn't even think of, which is the Junior series. So kind of like the GS Mini, Martin's got their kind of version of a smaller scale guitar, but there's some interesting things that set this apart from the Taylor GS Mini series. One, there's a couple body shapes. So this is a Dreadnought Junior. There's also a Triple O Junior. There's a Triple O cutaway version. There are versions with electronics, as you could kind of expect, and they all come with cases, just like the Taylors do. The big thing that sets apart the Martin Junior series is that these are all solid wood. So they're made in Mexico, just like the Taylors, but all of the Juniors are made of all solid wood. And for those of you who don't know, laminate back and sides guitar can sound fantastic. It's more about the construction of the guitar and the top wood. But once you start getting into all solid, you can start adding in a little more color, a little bit more flavor, the EQ of the back and sides. This is an all Sapele guitar, and this just so happens to be the DJR-10 Streetmaster. So you kind of got this sort of, like on these, it looks more like a darker burst type thing, but the Streetmaster from Martin will be kind of this almost relict, kind of rugged look. You can get this in a spruce top without that kind of treatment put on it. You can get it look in a few different ways. However, there's something to be said for an all-solid guitar that's under $1,000. This is not full size, but it's got a sound that is surprising to, I think, everybody that plays it in the store. It's got a very big sound. Checking my notes here, I believe with this guitar, you are entering in at $599. I think there's a electronics version for $699, but I know that you can get into an all solid wood Martin for like around $599, which is pretty nuts. Everybody always talks about the legacy models, the big boy stuff with HD 28s and 0042s, and we talk about that way more on our channel than we talk about these. But the headline here is you can get into an all solid wood Martin for well under $1,000, and I got one last one, which is actually the one that I'm going to demo, and I'll tell you why. Keeping with an all-solid Martin for under $1,000, this is a 0010E. And this, much like the 114 CE, this is getting up there close to $1,000. This is $899, and all these prices will change at some point in the future. So if you're watching this in the future, I have everything linked below. You can click on it and see what the price is now, if it's still around. I think all of these are pretty much long-term stays in the lineup of these companies, so I don't think there's any worry in anything getting discontinued, but that does happen sometimes. However, this 0010E, Martin's Road series is kind of their entry, and that's their Mexican-made line, kind of up through 10, 11, 12, 13. When you see that number in the model number, you know that it's a Road series, and they're available in all different kind of body shapes based on the series that you're in. The 10, this is where it gets a little weird and confusing. The 10 is the entry, just like that Dreadnought Junior was technically a 10. This is all solid wood, this is all sapele, and this does have electronics. It's got an onboard tuner, and all in all, just like a really perfect guitar for what it is. When you get into some of the higher level Road Series stuff, like the 12s and 13s, you will see some laminate back and sides guitars, and that's why I think this 0010E is probably the best value of all of the Road Series. You get a mix of all solid and some solid top laminate back and sides, but this really hits the marks of what a lot of people go for in like a 0015M, which is an all solid wood, all mahogany guitar made in the United States. This is made in Mexico. This is pretty much half the price as of right now, and it comes with a gig bag. It's just a all-around fantastic guitar. The reason I'm choosing to demo this one today, a couple reasons. One, I think of everything that we've talked about, if I take the things that I look for most in a guitar, one, I play out a good amount, so I need electronics because I'm not always bringing a nice mic with me to the rowdy bar gig. I need a gig bag. I like all solid wood, and if I'm looking for something under $1,000, this would probably be right up there at the top. I think it's between this and, for a completely different scenario, for me at least, I'd probably pick the GS Mini. But I've never, to my knowledge, played one of these on the channel, which is wild because it's a popular guitar. I think there's a lot of comparisons to be made to higher end things that this totally holds its weight up against. But I want you to take a listen to this. This is a sound that you can get out of something that's $8.99, and everything else, if you're interested in it, I linked everything below. But take a listen to the 0010E, fantastic guitar under $1,000. Here we go. There you have it, a bunch of guitars that I think are totally great options, from about $200 to right around $1,000. You can't go wrong with any of these, and it really just depends on what you're looking for, what kind of situation that you're in terms of, you know, how long you've been playing, what you want a guitar for. I think for a beginner or for somebody that just needs something else to add to the collection, maybe mess around with a different body style, or you know, just have something that's a little easier to be bringing around. I think all of these are really good options. I want to say a couple things. One correction, the Dreadnought Junior that I played, it does have electronics. They're just hidden from me, which is one thing that I kind of like. I don't love a preamp up here. I like inside the sound hole, you know, controls. So that feels a little bit more elegant to me. That's just a personal preference. Just like this one has a tone and volume control right inside the sound hole. That's what my guitars have, and that's what the Dreadnought Junior has. Sorry for the confusion. That was a $699 guitar. It's got electronics. Now, back to the good stuff. Yamaha, Fender, Guild, Taylor, and Martin. They're 5 brands that we carry here. There are other guitars that are out there that probably meet the same criteria that I don't carry. There's other brands that we carry here, like Ferk and Gibson. As of right now, they don't have anything that's really under $1,000. There's one Ferk guitar that I think is right there that's totally worth checking out. But for these, I'm trying to go for stuff that would probably be accessible to anybody around, and things that, you know, we carry in the store. We don't have a ton anymore that's under $1,000. Definitely less and less that's under $500. And that's just because, one, like I said, guitars are getting more expensive. Two, it's harder to find something that I feel like we can put our faith behind and say this is a great choice. So if you want, because I just kind of word blasted with a bunch of guitars, if you want more of my kind of pros and cons and thoughts on these things, I do have a written out sort of version that's a blog on our website that's going to be linked below. We also have a guitar buyer's guide that's much more comprehensive than this that our buddy Chris McKee wrote that you can also find in the description. I think that there are valid comments out there about our channel and other channels that a lot of people focus on the high-end stuff because it's new and exciting and it's really fun to kind of dig into weirder specs of more unique things. But this is the bread and butter. This is what gets people into playing guitar, and this is what has helped us kind of form these relationships that are long-standing that get people up to a $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 guitar. That just hopefully we can make a case for it being an improvement on these. But I think a lot of these, there's no improving to be done. They are perfect for what they are and perfect for their price range. So if you have questions, this is what we do all day. Most of the time we talk to people that are just trying to get started or looking for something in a specific price range with a specific set of specifications. I got through it. I didn't flub those words. So reach out to us. If you chat with us on our website, you'll see a little photo of me. For right now, it's a picture of me. I didn't put it on there, but it'll come through to one of us. Usually I see it. Sometimes Chris sees it. Sometimes any one of our other guys who are fantastic, friendly people that love talking about guitars will see it. So if you're looking for something and you want to tell us, I want it to look like this and I want to spend this much money, and whether it's $200 or $20,000, we like talking about guitars. We like helping you find the right thing. So reach out to us, and if you want to see more of this kind of stuff, I just focused on steel string acoustics today, but we can do nylon strings, we can do electric guitars, we can get as broad or as specific as you guys want, because at the end of the day, that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to help people find the right guitar. So check out the links below if you want to hear demos. Check out the blog post where you got the guide of everything that I've mentioned here, and let us know if you want the buyer's guide that's more comprehensive. We will send it to you. Appreciate you sticking with me through this whole thing. I hope I helped you find something or at least get closer, and we'll see you next time.